Hi guys, so this is a quick example of how I map my clients before any of their permanent makeup sessions for their eyebrows. So I've gotten the 3 lines in the middle. Those are really important. I am feeling for the brow bone there. Where it starts to curve is where I like to put the first line at the bottom. I'm also paying attention to where her natural eyebrow hairs start. But if your client doesn't have eyebrow hairs there at the bottom of the front of their brows, or let's say they don't come in with any eyebrow hair whatsoever, always feel for that brow bone, and the hair should start right where it starts to curve. And then look at the angles that I'm using to map out where the top of her arches should be and where the tail should end. So again, with the client with this much eyebrow hair, you always want to work with their natural shape so there's not too much upkeep. Let's say I revised her tails and I brought them upwards. That would mean a lot of upkeep for her, so that would mean she would have to remove a large portion of her tail or, pluck or wax, and they're coming in to have less maintenance. They want less time getting ready. They want microblading especially to look a lot more natural. And then there I got my calipers. I got those off of Amazon, and I make sure that the distance between the front of the brow, right where those 2 outside vertical lines are the same distance for the top of the arch. And then here I'm just making sure, you want to make sure that they meet. When you're getting the top and the bottom of the brow at that angle, you want to make sure that they're creating an X in the center line, the line that's going in the center of her face. You want to make sure that you're creating X's when you're securing the top and the bottom line, and then also when you see here, I'm going and I'm figuring out where her tail should be. I'm also ensuring that they're making an X at the center of her face. So I know a lot of artists like to only check the top of the brow where the tail is, so like from the arch to the end of the tail, but I also like to check the bottoms there because that angle is really important. So what I'm talking about is the bottom of the arch to the end of the tail. So I check both, and then I make sure that both tails are ending at the same point. So now that I've secured the outline, I'm gonna come in with this China pencil, and I believe I got these off of Amazon, but there are a lot of different brands. The trick with these is getting a really fine point at the end. So I use blades or a box cutter to sharpen the end of these, and I make sure that they're really, really sharp, because when outlining the brows here, you want the thinnest line possible because that will yield the most symmetrical looking results. So again, I'm just outlining the lines that I've already mapped out, and then I will go back in, lose focus for a second there, sorry, but I'll go back in with a small micro Q-tip and I will make those lines a little finer, and then I can also make a few tweaks from there, and I'll show you exactly how I do that. So when I'm using this pencil to outline, I'm also not putting too much pressure on the pencil. I'm just letting it kind of glide on the skin really lightly. If you put too much pressure, it'll create a thicker line, and I want the thinnest lines possible. Here's a little trick I like to do. I like to measure the end of their eyelashes on the top lid to the end of the tail, and I make sure that it's the same distance on each eye. I wet the micro Q-tip just a tad, and then I'm wiping off any of the thicker lines that you see so that when I present the shape to my client for approval, we have the thinnest lines possible. This ensures that you really give her a feel for exactly where the strokes are going to be implanted and what shape we're going in with. And keeping these lines thin also ensures that you're going to see the strokes on both sides of the brow end at the same point. So you're not going to have any asymmetry or any strokes outside of the shape we've mapped out. So now that we're done with the outline, I'm going to show her the shape with this little handheld mirror, and I explained to her it's going to be in between these bold lines. And then I also tell my clients, although I map them out square, I never start them square. I'll always match their natural hair growth, and so that's what I'm explaining here. And you want to walk your client through how her hair grows and what pattern they're going to follow so that they can really envision what the finished results are going to look like. We don't want any surprises once you're done with the microblading session. And so she approves, and then I'll have her lay back so we can get started.